Hi guys, Kim here. Welcome to Backyard Blooms. In today's video, we're going to do a front and backyard garden tour. It is the first part of October and definitely feels like fall. It is in the mid 60s right now and a little bit overcasty, so I think it feels great. So I have all my fall decorations out on the front porch. I have some wreaths here on my windows, and then I have some pillows here on my rocking chair on the front porch. And all my containers are filled with lovely fall colors, so I'm excited to share that with you. And before we get started, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. And I have a goal of 1,000, so be the very first 1,000 to subscribe. So we're going to get started. So as I step away from the house, this is what the front part of my house looks like. And I have lots and lots of yellow violas in the front. And all my lovely tulips are going to come to follow. I have some tulips on order, and I have to put those in the fridge. For those that live in 7B and higher up, there has to be enough cold spell for them to be able to bloom well. So I'm going to put mine in the refrigerator for about 10 weeks. And then I'd say maybe sometime in December I'll come out and plant those. So one year I'll show the picture. I put these violas in the ground and then I interplanted them with my tulips, and they were so pretty. So I think I'm gonna try to do that same thing again this year, but I'll probably maybe put my tulips in between here. And then when these jazzberries are all finished, I think I'll do that there as well. So I pruned these jazzberries all the way back. If you've watched any of my other videos, you knew that I had nothing but jazzberries here. And they were just looking really bad underneath, so I ended up just cutting them all the way back and letting the new growth come up. So we have concrete edging, which I love. And I get a lot of compliments from people asking where and who. So I have a whole row of nothing but yellow violas here. Violas do a little bit better in my area than pansies do. And this is some of the salvia that was left over from my summer planting. And some of the salvia will come back, so I may not even pull that root up. But my problem is that I like to do new things each year in different colors. And then next year I was wanting to experiment with more yellow color. So this is an azalea, and I'm surprised this azalea has not fleshed out with any kind of blooms yet, because it's an encore azalea, but I don't even see any blooms on it. But this is the yin and yang viburnum. There's one, and there's the other. And then I have a gorgeous Japanese maple tree here in the middle. And then I have a lot of boxwood. So in the back with my hedge is the sprinter boxwoods. And I have 7, let me come around here so I can show you. I have 7 boxwoods that make a real nice tidy hedge. And these sprinters are my favorite. So a lot of times in the summertime, it's really hard to see these boxwoods. And then I have a spiral boxwood as well. It's a little bit different variety than these sprinters. And none of these boxwoods smell, by the way, because they're more of a Japanese boxwood than an American boxwood. I think that sometimes smell like pea. But this is one of the containers that I just planted up. This is an ornamental grass, and I have some marigolds and Dusty Miller and a few little pumpkin accents in there. And in this planter, I have some kale, Dusty Miller, and yellow marigolds. And I love this sedum right here. As well, I have a lot of that sedum all over the place. And it comes back for us as well. And then for fall, I like these type of pumpkins. I'm not even sure what they're called, but not your typical or stackable. I call them more of an antique-y type pumpkin. So I have the white on the bottom, and then a light orange in the middle, and this one is more of a blue and orange. I think that's really pretty. And then I have another spiral boxwood over here on this other side, so I have two. So my main two pieces that are in the center is this boxwood and this Japanese maple and this boxwood. I have another azalea there. So after cutting those jazzberries back, this one has rebounded, and I might even still get more growth for next year. The bubble gum, don't pull your bubble gums up. They will last. They'll come back year after year. They're definitely a workhorse. And then this plant right here is a hardy hibiscus. It's a proven winner's plant. And there's a gorgeous bloom. So this one has kept producing blooms and blooms and blooms all summer long. And this thing is taller than me. I'm 5'6", and I'd say it is probably 5'8" or larger. But look how big this thing is. It's just humongous. Like, I don't think it's supposed to be that big. But everybody loves this plant. It's cherry. Just so, so pretty. Look at that bloom. Love it. Next year they have a lilac one coming out, and I want the new lilac. And then I have a holly here that I left that the builder put in. And it's put a lot of growth on since we've been in this house. We've been in this house for 3.5 years. And then I have a climbing rose behind that, and it's a little wild right now. But when I put this rose in, my idea was for it to go around this post. But the canes really don't want to bend that way, so I just kind of been pruning it and letting it be. There's no blooms on that right now. And that is a David Austin, and it's called Lady of the Lake. There's the front porch. And this is a lime light standard, and I don't believe it's the little lime because it's a lot bigger than that lime down there. So I'm thinking that's a little lime right there. And I think this is a regular lime. Limelight hydrangea. It's a panicle. And it's starting to get its fall colors too. And it's massive. These blooms are massive. So actually the blooms are so heavy that it just caused this poor tree to droop. But I don't think it looks terrible. But hopefully when the stems get sturdier and sturdier each year, that they'll stand more upright. And that hydrangea down there is doing great. And I have another David Austin rose here. And I need to get it a trellis and start forming it up onto the wall here. But this one has put on a lot of growth this year. And there's one of the little flowers here that's budded out. And I forget the name of this one. I'll find out and put the name up for you. But that tree's loving it, that right there, and I actually replanted that one. So this is on the side of the house. And we have plans for this side. I just haven't done it yet. And I found this cute little rug, and it's washable, but I just didn't want to put it flat on the concrete here, so I just threw it over top of that one. But isn't that pretty? Does that not scream fall? And in this planter, I have some violas, some marigolds, and then I have a vine that will come over the pot. I cannot think of the name of that plant right now. If I think about it, I'll tell you. Dusty Miller's, oh yes, that is a Dicandra Falls. Dicandra Falls. And then another lemon coral sedum, that's from Proven Winners. And these gorgeous mums came from Creekside Nursery from Jenny. Love Creekside. I love her plants that she has. Love her videos as well. And I just had a video how to water these. So if you'll look for that video, you actually put these and water them from underneath instead of on top, and they'll hold their water better. And on this side, I have another mum and another planter. So violas. I have another kale. This is called Miss America Kale. And some more accents of little gourds. So I don't have anything on my door. You can just see me. But I like to put more of my color here because I feel like you can see it more from the road. But I've had these wreaths for a long time. And I believe that they came from like Hobby Lobby, I believe. So I've got two up on the windows, and I just have them hung with one of those stoppers there. And I just trade them out. So for Christmas, I'll put Christmas. I'll keep these up probably all the way through Thanksgiving because it's appropriate. And I bought these pillows in a place in downtown Davidson near Lake Norman, North Carolina. And then I have a camellia here that's loving life in this pot, which I'm kind of surprised, but it's doing really well. And it's a big pot, so I think that's why. And look at all these buds that I'm gonna get. So these blooms are gonna be a hot pink. And this is a dwarf one, a dwarf variety. And then you could see the rose there, which I don't have any blooms on the rose whatsoever. I have some new growth and a lot of spent blooms that I need to get off. Look at the sky, isn't it pretty? On the side here, I have a juniper that's in a spiral shape. I have catmint down here. And this blooms on and off throughout the year. And there's that bloom right there, they're tiny. But this one is from Proven Winners and it's called Cat's Pajamas Nepeta. And on the side this year I planted geraniums. This is not a Proven Winners. This is a Southern Living boxwood. I need to deadhead my geraniums, but there's the blooms on those. That's the first year I put geraniums on this side, and I like them so far. And in this little container, I just did violas and Dusty Miller. My son's in the military. He just got back from training in Germany, and I'll share a picture of him that he sent me. Us mamas always are so glad when we can hear from them when they go away for any type of training. But here's the front garden. So like I said, I've been gardening in this front yard for 3.5 years. Just like Amy and Jerry's across the street, I pulled out almost all of the builder grades plants and replanted my own. And I'm pretty happy with it. So we're so lucky to have a 3-car garage. And I have this planter. It's an aqua pot. So aqua pot is very useful when you don't have access to drip. And I planted this up maybe a month ago, and I've got a video about that, so you can look at the video. But I have the Sweetheart potato vine, Gumfrina, Diamond Frost, and I have the begonia in here. They just look like little tiny roses. The begonias do really well here too. And actually in that side garden I had nothing but white begonias. But that planter is doing really well. I like the combination. And then we had this sidewalk put in from Pavers Plus. Got me a little concrete birdie there. She says hi. So this is my side garden, and I have a video where I talked about all these plants too and what it looked like in the last couple of years. But again, I have sprinters and I need to trim those. Another camellia that I'm going to have climbing up this wall. And I have a row of boxwoods all the way down. And those are going to give me some winter interest. And then I like to change this up with either tulips in the springtime or annuals in the summertime. But this is an impatient purple. And that is Luscious Citron Lantana. Wind's blowing it there. Let me see if I can get it to stop. Newly Noir Coleus. And then I have 5 sets of that like I would just plant in a planter. And I've just planted these all along the side garden. The wind from Hurricane Ian kind of made them a little wild. All the pollinators love. You can see where the wind blew that one. I have another camellia there that has white blooms on it when it blooms, and it has lots of buds on that too, so I'm excited about that. And I have a shepherd's hook here that would not hold my flowers from before, so I just added some extra little accent pieces here. And then in prior videos, we planted up the sedum and these coneflowers. I believe this one was called Autumn Charm. Proven Winners has some gorgeous ones coming out next year. And this was Sugar Shack, and it went into shock after I planted it and all the leaves fell off, but this one's still alive. So next year I'll get to see that one all in its glory. And grass is looking good. If you have Bermuda grass or any kind of warm weathered grass, now is the time to put the pre-emergent on so you don't have new weeds pop up. They said we just have another 2-week window. And this is the black potato vine. So this container's gotten a little crazy. I still have my summer annuals in this. Some salvia. And then the newly more coleus. And then I have a whole backyard to share with you. All right, so I call this my Hydrangea Garden. I have the emerald green arborvitaes, and these were just tiny when I planted them, and now they're way over top my head. I pruned these limelight hydrangeas way back down here at the bottom so I can interplant them with another layer of ground cover. So this is the lemon coral sedum. This is newly planted, and this one has been in the ground for a while. I just love this texture. It's just such a cool plant. And then I did a geranium there. And I have a video where I planted those. And for those that are like frustrated with your hydrangeas flopping, you can get a plant support. These came from Gardener's Supply. So I actually think these first 3, I pruned these way back. You can see where I pruned them here at the bottom. So these plants here will get some sun, because I've got lots and lots of hydrangeas, so I'm going to have lots of blooms. In my prior videos, I like to have layers of 3. 1, 2, and 3. So these are the jazzberries, Proven Winners Super Petunias. Look at this gorgeous fall color on this limelight. And then of course I have a lot of spent blooms too that need to come off as well. A lot of people will leave these blooms on for some winter interest. I think it's pretty when you have snow, but we don't have but maybe one snow a winter. So to me, it's not really worth looking at the dead blooms. And then I have a magnolia tree. And in the middle here, I have some salvia, my midpoint. And that's Miss Grace from Unique Stone. Again, more arborvitaes, more limelight hydrangeas. And I wish they'd look better this time of year, but you know, this is what they're going to look like in the south. I tried to cut a lot of them off so I can get some new growth. And I am getting new growth, like right here. So you never know, I may have some new blooms come out before winter. We actually still have maybe 2 more months of growing season where we could get some still more growth before our first frost. So these I need to trim up, and I want to plant some more ground cover around this area here. Some more sedum. This is a pennisedum. I need to move that. This is a pennisedum, and I need to move that. This is a daisy, and I only get one set of blooms out of mine for some reason. Not sure why. And then I have another Limelight Standard Hydrangea tree. And this sedum I love. I'm in love with this sedum right here. This is Autumn Joy, and I have 3 right here, but I could plant more. I have them right next to this rock, and I think it just accents it really well. And then I have a butterfly bush, some spent blooms on it, and some that aren't. So this is the butterfly bush. Look at that gorgeous bloom. I still need to come and deadhead some. The more you deadhead, the more blooms you'll get. And then we have this side lined with rocks. And you can see the other side of my emerald green arborvitaes here. This is the Nellie Stevens holly that we made it into a little lollipop topiary. And another. This is my box of zinnias and cosmos and amaranth. And this is the start of my rose garden. So I have several sprinter boxwoods all the way through here. I have 4 different types of roses. This one's Eustasia Ive. I don't have very many blooms on it because the deer devoured this one maybe a week ago. And this is a crepe myrtle. I'll show you when I step away from it. And this is our fire pit area. I like rooms inside of rooms. This is Gabrielle Oak. Let me step away from this garden here. There is our crepe myrtle. We have 3 in this backyard. 1 here and 1 right there. My garden is broke up into 4 different parts, 4 quadrants. Quadrant here, there, over there, and here. And this is Boscabelle. This one is loving this cool nights. I feel like I get deeper colors than I do in the summertime. And Alexandra Kent, which I've not seen many blooms on this year because the deer like this one so much. For the first 2 years, deer didn't bother a thing. Now, like, they just don't know what to do with themselves. And that's an Oakland holly. And this is my fall planter that I have in another video. This is another unique stone, Galloway urn. And I have violas, Dusty Miller, snapdragons, and some heuchera in here. And then I have pepper plant there. I just saw a monarch butterfly. I was trying to catch it, but I don't know where it went to. This is another aqua pot with the king tut grass. It's not called king tut, Prince tut grass. And the diamond frost. And this is my back porch. So this container looks a little wilty. I just planted this yesterday. This came as a combination that I bought from Lowe's for fall colors. And I'll throw the names up. I don't have that tag in front of me. I do know that's a super petunia. I'll give the tags. So all of these on drip, and right now I just have the drip out because I'm not going to have my drip running all winter long. There's another magnolia. In the back here I have some olive trees, some sweet olive trees. I've got 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have Gara, daylilies, another butterfly bush over there. And some tall phlox that the wind blew over. There's another planter from Michael Kors that does the aqua pots. And I have strawberries in here. And they always have some type of bloom on it. And have some lavender over there. More David Austin roses, 3 of them here. And they don't have any blooms on them right now either. The water feature. And this plant's doing gorgeous right now. This is a Proven Winners. Ooh, I have the tag here. High Noon. This one does well in the hot summer. Don't you love all my fire ants have made their way through these pavers. I need to clean that mess up. This planter has done gone crazy with this potato vine. This is a type of phlox and it's done well all summer long. And then I have this palm that I'll have to bring inside in the winter time. And then some impatiens back here. I do have some Mexican petunia right there. That looks really pretty. And that's a perennial. And these are my Yoshio cryptomera trees. Wine and roses. These are the fall planters. I have 3 here in these concrete. I kept this potato vine from prior plantings. Dusty Miller, the violas, the kale, marigolds. More nepeta that lines this whole garden here. And this is the new plant that I planted, that coreopsis, and some grass in prior videos. Some coneflowers. Sedum that I just planted. There's my Sasha Girl. She's so pretty. She makes this garden look extra special. So more nepeta. Another container, I have 3. This one has a kale in it. Again, violas, potato vine, Dicandra falls, marigolds in this container. I have another magnolia there. And this is black-eyed Susan on Old Blisk, and I have 2 vines growing up on this. Lemon appeal and coconut appeal. This is the candy corn Spirea. I love this chartreuse color in the garden. I need more of that. Some salvia. This is the lilac tree that I just planted in a prior video, and the puffer fish back there. I took out my bubble gum from my hanging baskets, and I'm hoping I can get some growth on that so they'll come back next year for me. This one's already got some growth on it. Look at these coneflowers. So some of this still needs to be pruned up. This nepeta. So this space right here had a big redo. I don't know if you can tell in my prior videos. I will be glad when some of that stuff in the back starts to get a little taller though. My other planter, same stuff. Potato vine, Dicandra falls, yellow violas, and yellow marigolds. And this is a hanging basket. Diamond frost in it. And then on this side, I planted some new daylilies. And I kept the tags on, so maybe I'll know what they are. Here is some laying on the ground of my dahlias. So next year I need to do better about staking those. And I have 4 David Austin roses here, Olivia, Celebration, and a climbing rose back there. And then again, the Nellie Stevens, pruned up to be a lollipop. And that's a Yoshio cherry tree. I have 2. And there is my bird feeders. I love watching my birds. And I have dahlias here. I have fire ants there. This is a hydrangea that I've not yet seen one bloom on because of the deer. And this bloom's about ready to go out of bloom. That's a dahlia. I have Rose of Sharon. And I just sprayed for that in a prior video. I had these beetles all over it, but you know, I don't see any beetles on this one anymore. This one is a lilac one. This dahlia is beautiful. I have a lot of that in my containers that I film. Along with these, and there's bees all over that one. So this one was the hardest hit. You can see the damage here, but I don't see any of those beetles on there. I'll throw a little clip up for you of what they look like. I just sprayed them yesterday. And this tall phlox is doing really pretty right now. Big old bumblebee on that phlox there. And this is a blue chiffon Rose of Sharon. And none of these set seed, so you don't have to worry about doing any extra weeding. This is the other side of my cottage garden. More phlox, junipers, another butterfly bush, more phlox. This is another butterfly bush that's half gone, half living. I have one little bit of a bloom there and a bee on that one. It's got a gorgeous bloom if I can get this plant to start performing better. Junipers, these are 2 different varieties. This one turns more goldish with the more sun that it has. This is the sugar tip Rose of Sharon that's variegated that I just planted. So this one will get some height and will give me some screening room. And so will all 3 of these plants in the next year or 2. Daylilies. And this vine, this black-eyed Susan's going everywhere. It's actually hidden, but quite pretty with all the combination of my butterfly bush there. This is Russian sage, which does not do well for me. I don't know why, just has not performed great. And this is a Baptisia, and I think this plant is gorgeous. I love the texture. I love the seed pods that are on it. It has some height. It just gives some boldness in the garden. And this was Serendipity alliums, which all need to be deadheaded. They're out of bloom. Still pretty. Another juniper. This is some basil. You can see another bumblebee enjoying that one. The other side of my rose and my water fountain. I have a hummingbird feeder there. My tomatoes didn't do great. I don't think they got enough sun. And this is the tea olive, and you can see little teeny tiny blooms on that. I think as they age, they'll smell lovely, but I really can't smell them right now. And then some more coneflowers that need to be deadheaded. And I have another hardy hibiscus that has a lot of spent pods on it. I need to prune this one, but there's one bud there and another there. And then my magnolia and crepe myrtle. And that is this side of the cottage garden. So my goal is to not have 1 inch of mulch seen. That's my goal. Whether it's an annual or a perennial, a shrub or a tree. It was so funny. I always felt like questioned why God wanted me to do this YouTube. And when I was reading the other day, one of my Bible verses that was sent to me by email, it said that God's preparing us while we're here on earth for our job that's going to be in heaven, that we're going to work in heaven, have a job in heaven, and we're going to love what we do. So I was like, it hit me just real tight in my chest. I was like, oh, like, is that why God wanted me to do YouTube? Because maybe, just maybe, he needs more gardeners in heaven. So have you ever thought what your job might be in heaven? I thought that was pretty cool. But I felt like God gave me an answer. So there we go. This was pretty much the whole entire garden that we just went over. I feel like I struggle in October giving a tour because other than these fall blooms, there's just little things here and there that have great color to them. And then my Sasha Girl here has a bladder infection. And of course, they said that the antibiotic is really resistant, so she's going to have to go on one that may cause side effects. So it's just always something. We just can't get a break. We just can't get a break, can we, Sasha? She just had ear infections, so we battled that. She's had problems with her bladder all her life. She's a sweet girl. Oh, and my daughter closed on her house this past week, so I'll share a picture of her. So I'm really happy for her. And her name's Jenna. And then my other daughter, Ashley, is over there helping her like crazy. Painting, pulling up staples, new flooring. I hate it for these kids this time of year because the interest rates are so expensive on them. And there's my neighbor's yard that I shared with you before, Miss Bonnie. I've seen all her color that she has up there, from her bubble gum to her sunflowers and lemon coral sedum and red impatiens. Very pretty. So that's the end of our October tour. I hope that I gave you some small inspiration to get out and plant, and I'll see you in the next video.